Minnesota Timberwolves have embarked on their 2022-23 NBA campaign. A season many people have a lot of high hopes for. Morale in Minnesota about the Wolves is the highest we have seen it in a long time. But expectations are a double-sided sword. On one side, diamonds are made under pressure, and on the other side, higher expectations leads to greater disappointments. So while we're early in the season here, I am going to get in some season predictions for the Wolves. Some of these predictions are going to be milestones, other will be narratives. Here are 7 season predictions for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, All-Star. Some fans will see me selecting Anthony Edwards as an all-star, as low-hanging fruit, but I really believe it's going to be a harder path than you may expect. A lot of times you see a young star on a team with high expectations and just assume it's going to happen. And obviously here in Minnesota, we have unbelievably high expectations for Anthony Edwards. The third-year player has brought an energy and a buzz to Minnesota unlike anything we've seen before. But when we look into the specifics, it's going to be tougher than you think. Last year's Western Conference All-Star backcourt was as follows: Steph Curry, Ja Morant, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, and Chris Paul, as well as injury replacement DeJounte Murray. Now, Donovan Mitchell and DeJounte Murray have moved to the Eastern Conference, but that remaining group is rock solid. Almost every one of them, barring injury, is virtually an all-star lock. Now, let's look at some of the other names that are also going to be vying for, theoretically, one opening left behind from Donovan Mitchell. A returning Damian Lillard, who is hooping early in the season. Klay Thompson, who is as healthy as he has been in many years. Paul George, who I believe is listed as a shooting guard, but positions don't mean anything anymore. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jamal Murray, who is also, once again, returning, just like some of the names earlier on the list. It's going to be a hard road, but in spite of that, I'm still picking Ant. Partially because I'm a homer, alright, and this is a Wolves channel, but mostly because he's Anthony freaking Edwards. Inevitably, a name or two on that list is going to face an injury. And some of those teams are going to be underperforming expectations, all while the Timberwolves have an all-time resurgence with Anthony Edwards as the face of it. A divided narrative. The downside of being a team with expectations is the media attention. Getting discussed on Undisputed or First Take certainly rises the stock of your team and helps forge the narratives required to collect some hardware come award season. But the downside is the toxicity of sports media. It is designed to tear teams down and drive a wedge between teammates, all for the sake of content. Now, this particular narrative with the Wolves began circulating last season, and it feels like we are on a crash course with it this season. The narrative being, whose team is it? We've been Karl's team for over half a decade now. Even when Jimmy came through, even during the time where it was shared with Wiggins, it's been Karl's team. And the answer to who sits at the head of the table has never been more contested than right now. From Ant's lightning rod play and his beloved personality, Ant is both an absolute hooper and a media darling. Now, the national media is already buying in on Ant, as they should be, and the picture they paint between him and Karl is only going to get more strained. It's only a matter of time until the talking heads pit them against each other. I know this is a fairly vague prediction, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be on one of these shows where they're gonna be saying, "Oh, it's Ant's team now. How's Karl gonna do with this? Oh, it's Karl's team." And it's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be annoying, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. D-Lo hanging fruit. All right, I know, bad pun, but D'Angelo Russell's disappearing act during last season's playoffs was much maligned by Wolves fans. Wolves Twitter clamored for Jordan McLaughlin to take his minutes, and it was hard to argue against. D'Angelo Russell was a non-factor, and he is now playing on an expiring contract. And while I maintain that the D'Angelo Russell Andrew Wiggins trade was easily the right move for the Wolves, it is fair to say that D'Angelo has significantly underdelivered on the hype that we held for him. Now, inevitably, the Wolves are going to be on a sour run at some point this season, and DAngelo Russell is going to be the first man thrown under the bus. As soon as things start to get rocky, and as soon as we drop a game or two in the playoffs, I can tell you right now, it's going to be DAngelo Russell as the scapegoat. Jaden McDaniels, star stopper. Now, our defense is going to be anchored by the Stifle Tower in the paint, but the perimeter defense will prove to be an interesting area for the Wolves. The Western Conference, and the league in general for that matter, is packed with perimeter stars. Offensive guards and wings that bring the dynamite on offense. Now, last year, the Wolves met this challenge with the always polarizing Patrick Beverley and the ever-juiced Jared Vanderbilt. With both of those guys playing in different jerseys this year, the Wolves have an interesting dilemma. Who is going to guard LeBron when he comes to town? Who's got Curry and Luka and Kawhi and Devin Booker? Don't get me wrong, Ant has got that dog in him. And I expect him to take his share of possessions against these stars, particularly the guards. But by and large, I think our go-to perimeter defender is going to be the secret sauce. He does arms with his long arms. He's a perimeter baddie, and most importantly, he's Mac Daddy. Oh yes, sir, it is Jaden McDaniels. Now, expectations across the board for the Wolves are high, and a pretty low-key linchpin for that success is Jaden McDaniels and his development. Quietly picked up on the tail end of the first round of the 2020 NBA draft, McDaniels is a name that has slid under the radar on the national level, but Wolves fans know all about. For those of you who may be less familiar with Mac Daddy, the swingman out of Washington has performed in the past as a versatile stretch four with solid defensive instincts and a long, disruptive wingspan. Now rolling into the season as our starting three, McDaniels is going to be the centerpiece of our perimeter defense, and when the stars of the league visit the Target Center, expect them to be pestered and clamped by McDaniels. Push past the plane. Now, I am absolutely drinking the Kool-Aid. It is feel-good times in the early of the NBA season, and we are feeling great, and we don't need no stinking plan. As enthralling as our play-in appearance this last season was, I don't need that stress in my life. Now, with an offense that has the firing power of Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, anchored by the defensive greatness of Rudy Gobert, all blended together with Chris Finch's big old brain, I don't think we'll need to fight through the plan. I see the Wolves being a top 6 seed. This entry, nice, short, and simple. We are skipping the play-in song and dance this year and going straight in. Ant's big one, it's going to count this time. Now, Ant is at any moment in time on a basketball court a ticking time bomb, ready to detonate and throw down a monster slam right on somebody's head. Ant's unbelievable highlight jam this last season was wiped off the scoreboard, but it counted in clout. This year, at some time, Ant is going to drop one on somebody's head and make them question their career path. And my bold prediction this year is this time, those 2 points, maybe 3 with the free throw, they're going to go up on the board. Three above 40 from 3. My last prediction from this video is going to be entirely stat-based. The NBA isn't changing. The NBA has changed. It's no longer becoming a three-point league. It is and has been a three-point league, and it took the Wolves a little bit to come around on that. But we're here. The Wolves have built a roster with some dependable shooters from distance, and I think this year we'll see 3 Minnesota Timberwolves shoot above 40% from 3. I know it's a very specific prediction, but hear me out. Karl is virtually a lock to shoot above 40% from downtown. Knock on wood. Bryn Forbes has shot above 40% 3 of his last 4 seasons, and he has proven himself a cool hand from beyond the arc, so I'm locking him in. So we just need one more. Now, Ant doesn't need to shoot efficiently because he's a hooper, and percentages don't matter when you're a dog like that. DAngelo gets hot from range, but he's not exactly a sniper. So my prediction for number 3 is most likely going to be Taurean Prince, who is consistently shot at a high clip in terms of efficiency. But who knows? Maybe Jalen Noel will make the leap in efficiency and be our third guy. I don't know who it is, and I don't know why I got this vibe, but I'm telling you, there's going to be at least 3. So there it is, 7 predictions for this season's Minnesota Timberwolves. Some good, some bad, and who knows, maybe I'll actually hit on a couple of them. Drop your own season predictions in the comments below. Let me know what you see in this team's near future. Stay lit. Thanks for watching.